Raymond Lully is easy to place on the wrong shelf. A medieval thinker, a strange name attached to alchemical books, a legend near the philosopher's stone. But the sharper reading is this: Raymond Lully made alchemy a test of matter. For him, empty words could not prove the art. A beautiful doctrine was not enough. A learned speech was not enough. Even the right vocabulary was not enough. Alchemy had to pass through experiment, practice, heat, failure, correction, and operation. That is why Raymond Lully matters here. He represents the moment where alchemy stops being something you merely discuss and becomes something the matter itself must answer. Start with a simple image: a crucible, a dark metal inside, fire underneath. No audience, no argument, no lecture, only matter under condition. That image is the key to Raymond Lully's alchemical character. The question is not, can someone speak beautifully about the transformation of metals? The question is harder, can the operation bring imperfect matter toward a more perfect state? That is the difference between theory and alchemy. Theory can describe gold. Alchemy must confront the metal. Theory can define medicine. Alchemy must confront the body, the substance, the preparation, the dose, the fire, the timing. Theory can speak of the great work. Alchemy asks what actually changes when the work begins. Raymond Lully enters the tradition as a figure of this change. He is not remembered only as a thinker who wrote about abstract principles. He is remembered as someone whose alchemical importance begins when knowledge turns toward chemistry, experiment, and practice. That shift matters, because in older alchemical thinking, the art is not just a collection of ideas. It is a discipline of transformation. Something acts, something receives. A process is arranged. A condition is created. An effect is sought. The fire acts. The matter receives. The operation mediates between them. The result proves whether the doctrine was alive or empty. This is why empty words are dangerous in alchemy. They can sound complete while changing nothing. They can name the stone, the elixir, the medicine, the Prima Materia, the perfection of metals, and still leave the matter untouched. Raymond Lully cuts through that weakness. If the art is real within its own logic, it must be more than language. It must be tested in the place where language loses control: the furnace. The furnace does not care if a sentence is elegant. The crucible does not respect reputation. The matter does not transform because someone has described transformation. It responds only to operation. And here the central notion becomes clear. Alchemy, for Raymond Lully, is practical knowledge. Not practical in the modern sense of quick use. Practical in the older, stricter sense. Knowledge proven by action upon matter. A kind of knowing that is inseparable from doing. This is also why the elixir is not just an idea. In a weak reading, the elixir becomes a symbol. A beautiful image of completion. A spiritual metaphor. A decorative name for perfection. But in the alchemical frame around Raymond Lully, the elixir has a function. It is tied to correction, restoration, and perfection. It belongs to the same logic as the universal medicine, a prepared principle capable of acting on what is incomplete. That is why the universal medicine is such an important angle. It shows that alchemy was not only about making gold. Gold was the visible example of perfected metal, but the deeper question was broader. Can imperfection be corrected? Can a substance be brought closer to its proper completion? Can disorder be treated by an operation that restores form, balance, and virtue? In that sense, the imperfect metal and the suffering body belong to the same symbolic field. Both are matter in need of correction. Both receive the operation. Both are judged by result. The alchemist does not only ask what the substance means, he asks what it can become under the right action. Pause here, because this is the point where Raymond Lully becomes more than a name. Many people hear alchemy and think of belief, or fraud, or vague symbolism, or a secret language that only hides ignorance. And sometimes that criticism is deserved. Alchemical history is full of names, claims, attributions, legends, and texts that must be handled carefully. Raymond Lully's own name became larger than a single biography. Works gathered under his authority. Disciples and followers used the master's name. The tradition around him is not a clean modern file with every line neatly confirmed. But that uncertainty does not destroy the value of the figure. It actually sharpens the point. Because the Raymond Lully preserved by alchemical tradition is not strongest as a simple biography. He is strongest as a type, the alchemist who refuses to let the art remain verbal. He stands for the demand that doctrine must become operation. And that demand protects alchemy from two opposite errors. The first error is empty intellectualism. This is the alchemy of words without matter. It knows the names, repeats the stages, speaks of the philosopher's stone, the Great Elixir, the Prima Materia, and the lapis philosophorum, but never explains what acts, what receives, and what condition makes the change possible. The second error is blind experimentation. This is practice without order, heat without principle, mixture without understanding, action without a real chain of causes. Raymond Lully's value is between these two failures. Not words without experiment, not experiment without doctrine, operation guided by knowledge. That is the harder path, because true operation requires several things at once. The matter must be chosen, the fire must be governed, the process must be repeated and corrected. The operator must know what he is trying to produce, and also what kind of failure he is seeing when the matter refuses. This is why the phrase test of matter is so important. Matter becomes the judge. If the doctrine says a base metal can be purified, matter must answer. If the medicine claims a restorative virtue, the preparation must answer. If the elixir is more than a name, its action must be intelligible within the operation. Raymond Lully's alchemy is built around that pressure. Not belief first, not speech first, test first. And this also explains why later readers found his attributed work so strange. They did not see only abstract speculation. They saw observations, preparations, and technical hints that seemed unusually concrete. Even the idea of a Vestal fire, connected with a kind of enduring artificial light, belongs to that atmosphere. Alchemy as a field of prepared effects, not decorative language. Whether every attribution is secure is not the main point for this video. The important point is the role the name Raymond Lully plays inside the alchemical library. He marks the demand for proof through operation. And once you understand that, the title becomes clearer. Raymond Lully chose experiment over empty words because, in this alchemical logic, words alone cannot perfect anything. They can point, they can preserve, they can warn, they can guide the hand, but they cannot replace the work. The work happens where matter is placed under condition, where fire acts, where the substance receives, where failure teaches, where correction begins, where the elixir is no longer a beautiful idea, but a question of preparation, action, and result. So if one sentence has to remain, let it be this: Raymond Lully represents the alchemist who made doctrine answer to matter, not a fantasy of instant gold, not a speech about transformation, not a name used to decorate the tradition, a stricter idea. Alchemy must be tested by what it does. That is why Raymond Lully still matters. He forces the whole subject back to its central question, not what can be said, but what can be operated. And in alchemy, that question changes everything without needing to exaggerate anything. The crucible is enough. The matter is enough. The test is enough. Subscribe for more clear entries from the Hermetic and Alchemical Library.